The Cowboys are forced into an impossible decision. After getting our first look at this new Cowboys team, the offense, the defense, there are a few undrafted free agents that are standing above the rest, and we're here to talk about it. Welcome back. Welcome back to Cowboys Digest. My name is Tyree Allison. We appreciate you checking in. As always, really quick before we get started, we did notice 79% of you watching are not subscribed. As always, this is your number one source for everything Dallas Cowboys news and updates, and as always, it is 100% free. So please hit that subscribe button for us. Now, before we get into the undrafted free agents, drop a signed Micah in the comments. Now, when doing these, these takes, these uploads, it kind of goes without saying, I've been leaving this jersey in the background for a reason. All of us Cowboys Nation, we are pressing the issue, but ultimately we all still know this man is 100% getting his contract. Like I said in a couple videos ago, Jerry's doing what Jerry does. He's getting all that money back. But right before he puts out a lump sum, he's going to get a lump sum in, and he's going to get it all through the offseason, all through the media. And it's just really kind of going to show. That's what he's doing. Micah Parsons is going to be the highest paid. I'm estimating $45 million a year, $180 guaranteed, $80-90 million signing bonus, and it's probably going to be a 5-year more. There is a chance he could get one of those super kind of max-looking kind of contracts, kind of like what they did Patrick Mahomes, to be able to stretch that money out on more of a long-term aspect, but I don't think so. So again, Cowboys Nation, have no fear. We know Micah Parsons is staying here if I can get that one off. Now, how do we feel? Let me know in the comments. How do we feel after marinating off that first game? We've sat on it. We probably rewatched the takes a couple times. We rewatched the highlights a couple times and have made our takes. How are we feeling? Honestly, overall, I don't think we did as terrible as it kind of looked at first, but there are a couple of guys, and like I'm going to speak about in these undrafted free agents, that I think are going to be some of the highlights and turning points for us as the season goes on as a whole. And it starts with wide receiver Tashawn Holden. So Brian Schottenheimer, I'm just going to say Coach Schotty from here on out. Coach Schotty confirmed Holden is moving up the depth chart as he continues to stand out in training camp and in the preseason. On Saturday, he had a 35-yard catch down the sideline and one of the biggest drives of the games for the Cowboys offense. Holden led the team with 42 receiving yards despite playing only 30% of the offensive snaps. Side note, any guy that comes in with limited time and is able to make an impact in that limited time typically results in getting more time. That's what we love to see. I mean, Tashawn Holden, if you go back and look at a couple other uploads when I was showing some camp tape, he was making splash plays all throughout camp. And it just goes to show here. And as you kind of see in this quote, it says, Tashawn has done that every day in practice. Literally, every day there's been one or two big plays, Coach Schotty said. What do you do when you get noticed? No. When you do that, you get noticed. When you do that, you get noticed. And when you do that, you get more opportunities. I'm proud of him, and you'll see him moving up the depth chart. Top of that. I'm excited for it. It does bear the question, though, because we already know 1 and 2, or really they're both wide receiver ones, and Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Tolbert, to me, is not the official lock in for WR3. He's not. I don't care if the Cowboys drafted him and have been molding him year after year after year. Let's keep it very 100. Yes, there are players that take a little bit of time, do some developing, and all of a sudden they're like breakout stars that become the highest paid, and make a name for themselves. That is not Jalen Tolbert. It's not. We don't even know if it's Ryan Florian. Honestly, we know what Kevontae Turpin is bringing to the table. I mean, I think to a certain extent they might list him as a running back, but we all know he's a wide receiver. He's going to take some snaps of running back, but I like Tashawn Holden at the wide receiver 3 position. I do. I think it kind of goes without saying that you make the type of plays he's been making. Mind you, we have not been talking about Tolbert the way we've been talking about Holden. Undrafted free agent. I get it. Tolbert might know a little more. He's obviously more established, but Tolbert has never done enough for me personally as a Cowboys fan. He just hasn't. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think of Jalen Tolbert versus the other wide receivers that are in that room, like the Florians, who was honestly compared to Dez before we got Pickens, who brings that Dez aspect as well. Let me know what you think. I think Tashawn Holden is working his way up the depth chart to be that wide receiver 3. And I think it's as clear as day. It ain't going to take but a handful of missed opportunities for Tolbert for him to go back on the bench. We know that. Let's go a little bit deeper here. Next, we got cornerback Zion Childress. So Childress was the second best graded defender on the Cowboys by Pro Football Focus. We love when PFF gets involved. And it's easy to see why. The versatile defensive back out of Kentucky did a great job showing up in coverage, allowing 1 catch and 14 coverage snaps. But as he worked from the nickel/slot, he also showed up in the run defense, recording 2 stops. Considering the Cowboys have a shaky cornerback room at the moment, Childress looked like someone who deserved a shot at making the team. Childress also played in almost half of the team's special team snaps. So we love that. We love that for 2 reasons. One, special teams guys are crazy. We know that. Special teams guys are crazy for this one reason. You know that you're running downfield, and obviously, not so much since they've changed the kickoff, but it's still guys running full speed at you trying to take your head off. And any coach, any vet will tell you, up until that kick rule change, being on special teams, especially kickoff, you got to be strong and you got to be tough, and you really just kind of got to be about that life. I think this cornerback is kind of going to show that he's about that. I love what he did in coverage, but I love more that he came and tackled, because let's be real, Cowboys Nation. Let's be very real. Trevon Diggs is not a tackling corner. For all intents and purposes, I don't know how much DaRon Bland is. I love them both. I think Siobhan Revel is going to end up being, how do you say it, the most physical of our DB room when he's back in at 100%. I do. I honestly believe that. I'm excited to watch more Zion. I think he's going to be another breakout guy. I like the wide receiver in Childress. I'll make sure Tashawn Holden. When I say Childress, I like the receiver in Tashawn Holden, and I love this cornerback. Now, there's one more player that they pointed out. This one's kind of more on the lesser side. Safety of Johnny Clark. So though Clark didn't have the best preseason opener, he led the Cowboys' undrafted free agent class in guaranteed money and has had a solid training camp. He has a chance to impress the coaches before it's too late. Per PFF, he missed 1 tackle and allowed 44 yards and 2 targets his way. He split playing time, working in the slot and in the box. So there's a good takeaway there. One, he can play in 2 different sides, play the slot, play the box. 1 missed tackle, allowed 44 yards on 2 targets. I mean, if we're being honest, tell me if I'm wrong, if my math is just off. It sounds like that's a safety that gave up 2 catches at an average of 22 yards a catch. That is terrible. And again, fact check my math. Fact check me in the comments. What do y'all think? Overall, I think Tashawn, for a side note, he's wearing number 7, and I'm wearing my Diggs jersey right now. So Diggs' number is changing. Let me know what you think Diggs' new number is going to be. A quick side note. I'm excited for Tashawn Holden more than anybody. I love when we got a new wide receiver that just comes in and shows out. Mind you, he's an ex-Oregon Duck, so he is tough. Any Oregon Ducks alumni, drop the O's in the comments as well. And again, so Zion, he was out of Kentucky. I'm excited to watch this kid. And lastly, our safety of Johnny Clark. These 3 guys, I'm excited to watch. Side note. I kind of talked about this in the previous video, but I did kind of want to segue over to this really quick. CD, you got to do better, bro. Listen, we don't need a Cowboys doing Cowboys things talk just yet. Let's leave it for Stephen A. First of all, where the heck is this side coach? The guy that Sean McVay always has at his hip, pulling that man back. Where was he at for the Cowboys right now? First of all, it's somewhat funny in the context of like, okay, he didn't get hurt. He laughed about it. Okay, I can laugh about it. But in the moment when you see that, it's like, holy crap, I hope he's okay. Bro, what are you doing out there celebrating like we had scored? Like, I get it. I get the aura of it. Like, arms up, you ain't even looking. We about to score. I love it. But my guy, I had to quickly segue to that. Sorry. I did because we got to get better. We 100% have to be tapped into on the mental capacity at 100% when it comes down to this season and what this team is trying to accomplish and get into a championship game and a Super Bowl. But overall, between Tashawn Holden, Zion Childress, and Johnny Clark, these are three guys that are standing out and, showing out in camp and in preseason, more so these two than this guy here. But there's no problem with that. I like that this guy tackles. I like that this guy tackles. And I like that this guy catches. Let's keep it real simple. And where's your athleticism at? I see it in all of them. So I'm excited for it. Let me know in the comments what you think, who you think is going to be, WR3 and WR4. Who do you think is going to be, our starting backfield? Personally, I got Elam, I got Bland, and I'm kind of throwing Zion up in there a little bit now too. I can't give it to Booth. Andrew Booth is never going in any recommendations for me as a cornerback. I think he needs to go. Sorry. I was talking to a couple of you in the comments from the previous video. I'm sorry. Andrew Booth has to go. I don't think he's that good of a corner. I just don't. I watched Malik Nabers take his ankles last year. If you didn't see it, you go look at it and then come back and let me know what you think. But as a whole, let me know who you think the wide receivers are going to be starting. Let me know how you think who the starting backfield is going to be. And of course, our next game is Saturday, August 16th, and we're at home against the Ravens. Let me know who you think is going to win that one. It's going to be a fun one. And we'll see you next time. This has been Cowboys Digest. We'll see you.